Hi everyone, so today we'll be going through my new updated rankings of the 2020 Democrats, which are the 10 people most likely to get the nomination. I'll display a few reasons why they have an advantage for the nomination, a few reasons why they might have a disadvantage for the nomination, and we'll go through the top 10 Democrats most likely to get the party's nomination to run against President Donald Trump in the general election in 2020. Today is actually not Monday 7 June, it's Friday 7 June. I hope you all are having an amazing day, and let's get right into it. So, these are the candidates that we are going to be looking at today. Joe Biden, the former vice president, the former senator from Delaware. Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey. Pete Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Julian Castro, the former secretary of Housing and Urban Development of under the Obama administration and brother of Representative Joaquin Castro. Kamala Harris, the senator from California. Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota. Beto O'Rourke, the former Texas congressman. Bernie Sanders, the independent senator from Vermont and former 2016 presidential candidate. Elizabeth Warren, the senator from Massachusetts, and Andrew Yang, businessman and entrepreneur from New York. So, let's get right into it. At number 10, the number 10 spot, we have Julian Castro. So, he remains at number 10. Now, pros. He's from Texas. That's definitely something that he can work to his advantage in the primary, getting Texas's big basket of delegates, assuming Beto O'Rourke's not in the race by then. He's also the only Latino candidate in the race, so he can get that Latino vote. He's also from the Obama administration. Cons, his name recognition is not very high and not progressive, so that could be a con for many Democratic voters. Okay, the next candidate on our list, in my opinion, the 9th most likely person to be the Democratic nominee for president is, you can probably guess it, Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang. So, pros. Andrew Yang has a big online base, and the people who support him, they really support him. I mean, there's the whole Yang gang, who some of which are subscribed to my channel, and other such channels that cover political news and commentary and the daily events of everything. So Yang, so pros, online base is very strong. He has been rising in the polls and now has much more name recognition. But cons, an online base can only get you so far, and he's going to need to find a way to go beyond that base of committed young voters, young online voters, and reach out to some other people. Another con is that he has got a bit of white nationalist support. Obviously, he's disavowed that disgusting behavior, but that would be a con. At number 8, so we have, at number 8, Amy Klobuchar. So Amy Klobuchar is the senator from Minnesota. She is up 1 in our rankings. Andrew Yang down 1. Okay, Amy Klobuchar. Pros, she's a Midwestern woman. That's definitely an advantage in both the primary and the general election. And also one of the data points that she often points to with regards to electability is that she was elected in a blue to purple state, which is Minnesota, by 25 points in 2018. So that shows that she can appeal to some of those Trump voters who did that. Okay. So, cons, though, her name recognition's still very low, and she's also a centrist, right? That would definitely be a con for many people, and the centrist lane is pretty much occupied by Joe Biden right now, who's further up on our list. You can probably expect Joe Biden to be towards the top of our list, but Amy Klobuchar, 8th most likely person to be the Democratic nominee. Okay, the 7th most likely person, so let's run down who we have right now. So, Joe Biden. Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. They are the remaining people. The seventh most likely person to be the Democratic nominee I see being New Jersey Senator Cory Booker. So, Cory Booker, pros, charisma, definitely a pro. Name recognition, his name recognition is quite high for a senator. But cons, he's pretty much a centrist in progressives' clothing, and that's definitely going to be a disadvantage for his campaign. Okay, Cory Booker is done. Number 6, the sixth most likely person I see being former Texas Congressman and former 2018 Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke. So, with Beto O'Rourke, pros, Texas. He can make the argument that he would be able to win Texas in a general election. He's very likely to win Texas in the Democratic primaries. Secondly, electability. He can make the argument that, look, I came so close running in Texas that I would, and Texas is quite a Republican state, that I will easily be able to beat Donald Trump. Third thing that's working in his favor, name recognition. Okay, cons, oil and gas money. Oil and gas money, a big problem for Beto O'Rourke. Again, he's also pretty much a centrist in progressives' clothing, and he also had to do a reboot of his campaign, which is not going very well. He's declining in the polls. He's right now at like 3.5%. He's lost his whole mojo, so Beto O'Rourke, sixth most likely person to be the Democratic nominee. Okay, now we've run out of space, so let's just move all of those people over. And so I don't know if you could see that, but these were our rankings, right? Just so we have some space, we've moved them over with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. These are the remaining people we are yet to do. Okay, so Pete Buttigieg is, I see, the fifth most likely person to be the Democratic nominee. Let me just look here. Okay, pros. He is a young gay man, which is definitely a pro in the Democratic Party, looking for a fresh new face. He's the mayor of South Bend, so that's quite a small city. You could say that's a bit of a con. And that's what it is. It's experience, definitely a con. Name recognition, a con. And he's also 2 months ago also we were talking about, how Pete Buttigieg is the next big thing. And he was rising in the polls and he was having a moment. Pete Buttigieg has kind of lost that moment, and he's retained some of his support that he received during the moment, but he has lost a bit. Now he's at about 6% or so. A new poll has him at 10%, but I think that's a bit of an outlier. Most other polls have him at 6-7%. Okay, at number 4, the fourth most likely person to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2020 is California Senator Kamala Harris. So, Kamala Harris, pros, California, that's definitely a pro. Another pro is that she can appeal to progressives and centrists. I really do think with progressives through Medicare for All, and also centrists through some of her more centrist past. Okay, cons. She's from a blue state, so California is an advantage in a primary, but not an advantage in a general election. That problem also applies to the following individuals as well: Andrew Yang, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Okay, and Joe Biden. Okay, so that's Kamala Harris. At number 3, the third most likely person we see being Massachusetts Senator and person who's giving out more policies than anyone else, Elizabeth Warren. Okay, Elizabeth Warren, number 1 pro, policy. She is just really oriented on policy. I really think that that's going to help her in a potential primary match up with some of these higher placed like Joe Biden and then Bernie Sanders. Pros, again, progressive. That's definitely another pro. I think she can kind of coalesce Bernie Sanders supporters and Joe Biden supporters She's rising in the polls, but cons, electability. People always seem to think Elizabeth Warren not electable, and even if that's not true, or maybe it is true, we don't know. It doesn't really matter whether it's true or not. It matters what people think, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Also, Massachusetts, a blue state, not necessarily the best. Okay, number 2, the second most likely person to be the Democratic nominee for president is former Vice President and, oh, look at that, Bernie Sanders. No, of course it's Joe Biden, number 1. Bernie Sanders. Okay, let's go through Sanders first. Pros: progressive, 2016 base. Cons: white man, old white man, and he's also declining in the polls a bit. Okay, Joe Biden. Pros: Obama. Polling, he's rising in the polling. Name recognition is very high. And he's also a very good debater. Now, people kind of forget this, but he obliterated Paul Ryan. There was no comparison. Same thing with Sarah Palin. He obliterated, like, there's no comparison. That's how good he was at debating. So that is something with Joe Biden. Cons, he has a lot of baggage from his past. I mean, some of the stuff he has said is just absolutely very bad. Okay, another con, previous runs for president. I mean, he's run 2 times before. The plagiarism scandal recently. Again, he's also an old white male figure. Okay, so that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down your suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.